and then this is going to start recording now for the video so that it could be shared with anybody else. My door is not locked. And let's see here. And I'm in slash Prince's room, my office. So I'm not going to show you the mess behind me because it would put him on blast. But you guys can freely take yourself off of mute so that we can talk as we go through stuff, so you don't have to unmute to talk. It's us. This is very laid back and chill. And I dedicated, to 11 o'clock. I don't feel like we'll take that long, but I wanted to just give as much time so that if you guys had any questions, it's not like we're restricted on time and I gotta go. I do have to go at 11 because I got a meeting at 11, but I wanted to freely allow you guys to discuss and have a question about anything that I pop up. So yeah, we'll go from there. So I'm gonna show you a couple of charts as far as how to read them, and that may take the bulk of the time. Then I'm going to show you a trading platform that I particularly use. And if we have the time, then I can show you also what we do to do a trade as well, like how we can initiate how doing a trade on a brokerage account, what it looks like, how you do it, and if we have the time to do that. And then we can allow this to be for any other time in the future that we want to do any discussions on other stuff as well. And mind you, I may be getting work text messages and emails as we do this too, because I'm also working right now. But hey, giving the time to you guys. So go ahead and, like I said, take yourselves off of chat so you can say whatever you want to say at any point in time.
Can we have a debate at the end?
No, I'm not ready to debate today. But Layla, I think your computer was making a sound or something. Did you try take yourself off of mute?
I was muted.
No, I know, but okay. At first, when you were off mute, it was like a noise in the background, not like your brother, anybody, or family. It was more like and I didn't know if anybody else heard that. Did anybody else hear that? Well, it was just me. Okay. Okay. All right. So. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, you guys, I can geek out and sometimes I don't know where to go, but we're going to start with the simplest thing as this. I'm going to show you something. I don't want you to freak out. No, that's not what I want. That's not what I also want.
Wait, so will this meeting also teach us how to trade stocks?
It's going to teach you how to understand what you're looking at so that you can know what it means when you look at the stock chart. And then be able to say, okay, if I wanted to trade this, this is what I would technically do, right? So I'm going to share my other screen because I have two screens, desktop one over here. I was playing around with stuff the other day, and hopefully what I share with myself actually looks like what I want to do. So shrink this, do this here, put myself in the top right corner. Do this, make this way bigger. Bam. All right, share. All right, do you guys see a stock chart in front of you?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Now, I'm sure this makes absolutely no, and I should be in like a top corner, right? You still see me in the top corner of somewhere, bottom corner?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, bet. All right, so Robert, do not pick at your nose or anything while you're talking because they can still see you. So this is a trading platform called Thinkorswim, and it's by Charles Schwab, which is my brokerage account. This is a paper trading account, so I do not have $187,000 in the account here. So I will soon, but this is not a real account, FYI, okay? But what we're going to be able to do is we're going to come to this after I show you guys a couple of things because I want you to be able to say, okay, what's the free tool that I can use to understand how to read and understand a chart? I'm sure if you're looking at this, you're like, what does this mean? Am I right? You're like, what? This doesn't make any sense to me. So let's dial it back. This is going to be one of our end goals, and we're going to add to this if we have time. But one of our end goals is to be able to read what this actually means. Okay. So I'm going to shrink that down and we're going to go to Yahoo. All right. And take a note of this too, because you can easily do this for yourselves. We're going to go to Yahoo and we're going to go to Yahoo Finance. On Yahoo Finance, we see Trump laying down his tariffs. And what we're going to primarily do though is we're going to want to look at stocks. And over here to your right, there's a section that's called quick quote lookup of any stock. So anybody blurt out a stock that you would like to take a look at? Any
Lego,
Lego
Tesla.
doesn't have stocks. Tesla
Pokemon.
Hawaiian Airlines.
does not have stocks either. Hey, let me actually indulge myself. That is not the Legos that you're thinking about. And definitely Pokemon USD cryptocurrency. I didn't even know that exists. That's wild.
Boom.
How about-
Pokemon is
Wild.
How about we
Pokemon is
see
a
how much
$100
debt
billion company.
I'm not gonna look at that. Well, we can look at that in a minute, but I did not know that would pop up. Wow. Okay.
Pokemon is probably not owned by Pokemon though.
Yeah, it's probably not owned by Pokemon. So that's why I was like, Pokemon. No, I don't think they have. That's crazy. But they have a cryptocurrency. Did not know that. Okay. So now what we're here is we are on, let me get rid of that Etsy stuff up top. Good Lord. We are on Yahoo Finances, obviously their main page. If you wanted to look at a stock and you said, hey, I want to see what the price is of something, you can easily go to Yahoo Finance, you can go to Google Finance, type in the quote over here to your right, and it'll show you what the stock price is. And it's going to give you a basic kind of charting here. Okay, a chart of what the stock looks like today. It's always going to default to today. We're not going to talk about fundamentals. I'm not going to get into how to understand earnings per share. I'm not going to get into understanding how the company runs, operates, good revenue, bad revenue, expenses. We're not doing none of that. We're looking at from a technical perspective of the chart and how to read it. Okay. And I take it none of you have ever looked at stock charts. So if you have, bear with me for those who haven't. But what you would do is you would also click on this chart tab on Yahoo Finance, and it's going to pull up primarily the page for the charts. And then I'm going to make it bigger so that it can take up majority of our page. And the reason I'm starting with Yahoo Finance because it's free 99. Okay, don't have to pay for anything. So what you typically would see if you were to watch the news and they're going to talk about finances, they're going to show you what is called a line chart. A line chart is where they have each point of the day is going to be a closing price of that stock chart. So across the bottom here, we have time on your x-axis, and on your y-axis, we have a price, right? So time is always on the bottom. Price is always will be towards your right. So today's price that Tesla is trading at right now actively is $343.03 or 15 cents, 14 cents live, 11 cents. It's constantly changing. In the top left, you'll always see the ticker symbol of the stock and the company TSLA for Tesla. You'd see the price as well. And then you'd see the change in the price, the plus $4.64, 66. Like I said, it's changing because it's active. And it shows you the parentheses of the percentage of growth. This is always going to be compared to the previous day. So what this means is right now's price is $343.23, and it's up $4.70 from yesterday. If it was in the negative, then it's going to obviously be negative $4 or negative $10 or whatever it is. Also, you can see here on the side, I have a couple of different stocks that are on my list. And it kind of gives the same information as well. Here's their last price that it was actually traded for. Here's the change in price. So AMD is down $3.80 from yesterday, and the percentage change is negative $2.68. Go ahead, sir.
What is AMD?
AMD is another company, like a microchip company like NVIDIA and like Intel. Great question. Another tech stock, a good runner, a good runner. Now you can, on the finance page, if you want to dive into what is the company, what's their sector, what do they particularly trade in, you can do that. And it'll give that information, particularly of what the company is, that's on the finance page as well. Okay. And you go over that the company overview. So on the stock chart, what you'll typically see, as I mentioned, is a line chart that you'll see. And what we're looking at right now is a chart of Tesla for the past 6 months. And so this date all the way to the far back is 6 months from today. And it's showing you what the stock has done. The stock has gone from $172, it's gone up to 182, down to 176, up to 187, had some sideways, and it shot all the way up to 263. And this was in July 10th of 2024. I would point to it with my finger, but as you can see where my cursor is down at the bottom, you guys see the date there of July 10th at the bottom of the page.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So as you move your cursor, you're going day by day. It's telling you what the performance of what the stock was day by day. All right. Now, as I move this back and forth, I want you to pay attention to this section up here. All right. Pay attention to this section. You see how it's constantly changing? Because each day I move, this is July 22nd, up here at the top, it's telling you, and this will be important in a minute, because I'll show you why. It's telling you the O as in the open price. It's telling you H as in the high price. It's telling you L, which is the low price, and C is the closing price of Tesla on this particular day, on July 22nd, 2024. It's saying that Tesla opened up at $244. It reached a high of trading that day of $253. It reached a low of trading that day of $243. And it closed the end of the day when the stock market closed and New York Stock Exchange closed at 1 o'clock our time. When it closed, the last price that it traded at was $251. This means that somebody may have bought it at 244, sold it at 250. They may have sold it all in a range of that day. They could have bought and sold Tesla at different times that particular day. And I'm going to show you what that looks like from a charting perspective as well, okay? But what you're seeing on a line chart is the closing price of that day. So that's why this point right here, this little point tip for July 22nd is $251.51. That is the price that Tesla was at the end of that day. And a line chart only collects the last closing price of the day. So something could have traded for as much as $100, but at the end of the day, it closed down at $50. This line chart is only going to show you the price of $50. However, the stock could have traded and fluctuated throughout the day. Okay. But what you mostly see is a line chart when you look at you look at the news, look at anything finance, they're typically going to show you a line chart, but it only collects the last price of the day. And then you can just see all this jagged movement. Okay. Any questions about a line chart? Good. What's up, Oliver?
Is there a way to see a line chart of what the opening price was, or are there only line charts for the closing price? Like, can you change the line chart to show the opening price?
No, you're going to only get it for the closing price because that's the price that matters for this historical data, right? It's a great question, but no, it's going to only be the closing price.
Got it.
Now, the other popular one that you would see is a mountain chart. And a mountain chart is the same thing as a line chart. It's just colored in like mountains. That's about it. That's
So they
about it.
made it kind of like a picture.
Yeah, just nothing's really changed to it, but you'll see this, right? You'll see the line and you'll see color underneath, but no color on top, right? And whatever color that CNN, CNBC, Bloomberg, whatever they may put as a color, it could be orange, it could be red, it could be a bunch of different colors. But a mountain one is something that you see. All it simply still is a line chart. Okay.
It's just a fancy line chart.
Yep. Because look, no different, right? No different there. Just colored it in. However, now, so with let me do now, next is the most popular and utilized by traders is a candle chart. Now, this is a whole different ballgame from what we just saw of the line chart, right? And candle charts are what day traders are using, long-term traders are using, investment bankers. I particularly utilize candle charting when I am trading or making a trading decision. But there's some disadvantages to it, right? Because now, well, you may be saying to yourself, well, what happened to that line? What was the closing price? How did they make that line from this information? If we bounce between, like, look at this big candle here, right? And we see that it's up here, then it's all the way spanning about, what is this? How many? This is spanning $23 worth of price data for this particular day. And this is June 6th. But when I go back to the line chart and I go back to June 6th, all you see is that little point down there. But when we go back to the candle, you see this large candlestick, and you're like, what does that mean?
Did they just connect the lines to each other?
They just collect, again, the closing price. They collect the closing price line to each other. Okay. Go ahead, Johnny. What's up?
Is the bottom where like the closing price, and if it's red, then the stock went down in general, and if
Yes,
it's green, it went up, and then the thick bar is like how much it varied throughout the day.
correct. So let's hone in on a particular day. Let's hone in on this day right here. Okay. We're going to look at October 24th, and we're going to look at this candle. And that you can't really see that wick though. Kind of bummed out about it. Okay. So let's hone in on this one, and then we'll look at a couple other ones. So remember when I talked about up here, there's the open, the high, the low, the close. Okay. So you may want to take out a piece of paper and draw this out for you real quick, because I suck at drawing on with a mouse when I'm doing Zoom calls. But so what this is saying is that the open price was at $244.68. Let me bring this bigger for you guys. So that price is right here. $244.68 is where the stock opened. It went as high as $262. And then it went as low as $242, but then it closed at $260.48. So on this particular candle, it has a body, a big body square, and then it has these wicks. a wick at the top, and it has a wick at the bottom. Stop me if I'm going too fast. Like you can see this one here. The red is a little bit better to see. It has a body, and then it has a wick at the top, and then it has a wick at the bottom. All these have a wick at the top, wick at the bottom.
So does it show the positive and negative climb of it or something? Or
now the red is an indicator of a day where the price went down. The green is an indicator of the day when the price went up. But the the candlestick is a representation of the activity for that particular day. Let me see how I can do. Oh, annotate. I've never annotated before. You guys are going to do stuff for the first time here. All right. Let me see if I can draw. Do you guys see me drawing on here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible. Okay, but it's all good. Okay, so, and this is probably a little bit better and clearer for us to see. Let me delete that. Go back to the point. I'm gonna make it thicker and I'm gonna make it a dark green. Okay, so we're looking at this candlestick again here. So you have a body. This is called the body. Oh, this is why it sucks. I can't write with the mouse. This is horrible. You have the body, and then these are called the wicks. W-I-C-K. Just like a candle, right? Well, candles only have wicks at the top, but just like a candle, you have a body, you have a wick. So down here, when it's a green candle, okay, when it's a green candle, this right here is where your open is. This is where you opened for. In this scenario, this was 200 and what was it, $240 something, right? Then it went as low as this price, which could have been, $215, $210, I think it was. It can go as high as the $263, but then it closed at $260. Okay, so we had 240, 243 or 223, one of the two. Go ahead. Go ahead,
So
Johnny.
the at the red candle, is the closing at the bottom?
The closing is at the bottom, correct. And 260. So does this make sense for you guys? Is this any questions of this body? And listen, you may not catch everything. I've been in classrooms with people my age or older that just could not grasp some of this stuff on the very first day. Now your minds are younger and fresher, so hopefully you grasp it quicker. But does this make sense? Okay. Okay, good. All right. So what this means is, and we'll hopefully be able to get to it. What this means is, let me draw this out of what this day could have looked like. So here's the beginning of the day. I'm gonna just draw two lines over here and I'm gonna draw on this whole situation, right? Here's the open of the day and here's the close of the day, right? 6:30 and 1 o'clock. What this means is, this is what the stock could have done in this one day of trading. It could have started here and it could have said, okay, I'm gonna go up, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Oh, I'm gonna go down there, but I'm gonna come back up. I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna come down here. Oh, I'm gonna go all the way down here. Then I'm going to come up, go here. But then before I close back up here. I'm sorry you couldn't see that. I should have picked a different color when it got into the green. But all this price action activity happened in this one candlestick. So it opened at the 223. It went up some. It came down maybe to 215. Then it went back up and charged up. And then it came back down, bounced up, came all the way down to that 210 low. Came up, went back down a little bit lower, but then it closed before the day ended. It closed at that 260. All of this activity could have happened in this one day for this green candlestick. Okay. Any questions? Nope. Okay. So that means if we do the inverse, here's a red candlestick. Draw it up here real quick. Boom, boom. Here's our wicks. Here's our open. Here's our close. Here's our high. Oops. And here's our low. It could have opened at 260, closed at, let's say, 250, went as low as 240, and went as high as 270. So for this day, the stock opened at 260, and throughout the day, it did its thing. We'll draw it out again real quick. It opened at 260 up here on the open, and it went and it said, okay, I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna come back up, I'm gonna hit the high, and then I'm gonna just go teep teep, boom, 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 and I closed right here. All this price activity happened in this one candlestick day, but it opened at 260, it went as high as 270, it went as low as 240, but then it closed at $250 at the end of the day. And then that would give you a red candlestick. Any questions on the red candlestick? Johnny, any questions? You look like, what? All right. Now, let me give you something here. Clear all drawings. We're going to go with the red candlestick. Now, let's say you have a candlestick that looks exactly like this. It looks exactly like this. Where is our high? It's a red candlestick, by the way. Where is our high? Go ahead, Johnny.
At the open.
At the open. Our open and our high are the same because there's no wick that pops out of it. And so that means that our close and our low is at the bottom. Our low is where we close for the day. So this is just a full body candlestick with no wick. Okay. Full body candlestick with no wick. That's kind of what this one looks like right here. But this has a little wick. I see it right there. All right. What does this one mean? Change the color. That's our candle for the day. Anybody want to guess what that one means?
A low positive amount increase.
Well, there is a low to it. Where's the low? Is it where my cursor is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where's our high?
It's at the top one.
At the top one. Where's our open?
Our open is on the top.
Our open's here?
No, it's on the left.
Open here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's our close?
On the right. Or no, on the bottom left.
Bottom left? What bottom left? Layla?
The opening amount and the closing amount were the same.
Same in this one. The open and close are the same in this one, Josiah, because this is the body right here. This one line across is the body. And it opened and closed at the same price. So if we were to have the start of the day, the end of the day, and here's our line, we opened and did this. And did that. We opened at $20 and we closed at $20. We had a high and a low, but at the end of the day, the same price that it opened it up is the same price that it closed at.
So basically those candles are just like summaries of that day.
It's exactly the summaries of the activity for that particular day.
Oh, so it just shows you your opening amount, how high and low you got throughout the day, and then the closing amount and just sandwiching it all in between.
Right.
Okay.
And then a line chart typically just connects the closing. So a line chart, if I was able to draw a straight line, if this is day 1 and day 2, the line chart would go to here. And then depending on what the next day is, it goes to here. And then depending on the next day, it goes there. But obviously you don't know of the activity that happened in this day. So that's why a lot of traders use candlesticks, because they can trade within the day and they can make money if they bought something when the price was low and sold it when the price was high. Look, I can buy something when it's down here, sell it 30 minutes later when it's up here. And I did that within that one day, right? That's what day traders can do.
Like if you had bought the stock way back in June when it was really low, and then sold it like yesterday when it was super duper higher up.
Exactly. And you sold it when it was higher up, even though by the end of the day it closed lower, you still made money when you sold it at that higher price. Now, where it closed, you could have still made money, but you probably got out at one of the highest prices of the day. Okay. So this is any questions on this? Because I'm gonna go back to the Yahoo chart, and we're gonna break down some time frames so you can see it. Okay. So any questions about open, close, high, low? Okay. So let me scratch all this and close this out. So I just drew out an example. I drew out examples with the body here. This is exactly like the last thing I drew. You see this here on October 21st. It's just simply a cross. Not for Jesus Christ, but it's a cross. Okay. And it has its high, it has its low, and it has its I mean I'm gonna go open and close, but it really the line of the candlestick doesn't necessarily matter. You know, the left or right doesn't really matter, but the open and the close was the same day. Now I know what you're asking. Your question is, well, why is it red? Well, it's red because it's a lower price than yesterday. This one's red because it's also a lower price than the previous day. All right. So let me zoom out real quick. And we're, like I said, we're looking at how many? No, oh, this thing went super far out. Okay. So we're looking at, again, like a 6-month chart on Tesla. Can somebody tell me what the price of Tesla is right now today? Just blurt it out.
$344.06.
Right. Because that's what it's moving at today. Let's see, what did we open up at today? Let's zoom in. So I'm hovering over that candlestick. What did we open up at today?
$343 and
No, what do we open?
Oh.
The O.
41.
Corner. 341.45. Yep. What's been the high so far for the day? What's the highest it's traded at today?
346.96.
What's the lowest?
$338.47.
And what is the quote unquote, the close is constantly changing because we're still active for the day. But the close in this particular situation for today would be the very last price. So the very last price now is 343.88, 89, 343.88, 86, right? Somebody is buying or selling at this price right now on Tesla. Right now, they're buying and selling at this particular price. And that's what this candlestick is saying so far for today. And we have, what time is it? 9:43. We still have about 3 hours and 18 minutes left in the market. So this activity can continue to go on for the rest of the day. And the highs and the lows can change as well, because we're still only so far in to the trading day. The high can end up being 350 if more people want to buy it. The low can even go down lower if more people want to sell it. What's up, Johnny?
When does the stock market open in California?
6:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. closes at 1 o'clock p.m., which would be 9:30 to 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for the New York Stock Exchange. All right. Good stuff on identifying these highs and lows and close and opens. Yes, Layla, what's up?
Is that opening time for like all stocks or is it just Tesla?
It's all stocks. All stocks. Now, we're not including here futures trading, which is trading future prices of the market, different markets like the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ or the Russell 2000. We're not going to dive into futures. I'm not a futures trader either, so we're not going to go into that. And this is not for like bonds. I know those are part of the homework, right, of what bonds are. It's not the same market for bonds as well. This is purely for stocks, which is also called equities. Stocks, equities, or even the options market, which is a derivative of a stock. But we're not going to get into options today. Maybe another day. Okay. So let's zoom out for a second. I'm going to zoom back out. And we're going to look at this bottom section here, okay? So now that we're looking at this chart for Tesla, and we talked about what a candlestick is, and we talked about the candlestick representation for that day, okay? These are daily candlesticks. And we're looking at it over the course of 6 months. We can change it to say, I want to look at it over the course of the past 3 months. I want to look over it at the course of the past 30 days, 1 month. I want to look at the last 5 days. So now I just changed the chart time frame from 6 months, which gave us this bigger picture, to 3 months, compress the time, to 1 month, compress the time, because this will be 30 candles going from left to right. That's going to be 30 candles. And now I just said, oh, let me go 5 days. And now you're looking at it like, hold up, where did all these candles come from? So when you're looking at a chart, you can change the time frame of the amount of time you want to look at, meaning 5 days, 1 month. I can go year to date, means it goes all the way back to January 1st. I can look at 1 year, meaning it goes all the way back 365 days, or I can go 2, 5 years, or I can even go the max time frame, as far back as Yahoo Finance can go to look at this chart, but it changes the intervals. What's up, Johnny?
I saw when you did 5 days that they had it by hour. So it's just a candle for each hour?
Yeah, actually it's by minute, by 5 minutes. You look like blown mind right there. All right. So when you change the time frame, depending if you're going to a very smaller time frame, meaning the time you want to look at it is the 5 days, it's going to change the intervals of your candlesticks. And it can change it to 1 minute. It can change it to 2 minutes, 3, 5, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hours, or even 1 day. So let's take a look at this 1 day. Actually, it's not even going to do it for me. It's like, no, we're not doing that for you, homie. Because if you were to look at a candlestick for 5 days and you wanted to look at the whole day, it's like, bro, what are 5 candlesticks going to do for you? Nothing. It's like going here. You want to look at 5 days? It doesn't even let me zoom in to only look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't make any sense to only look at these candlesticks. It doesn't make any sense to do that, right? So it's saying when you want to look at a smaller time frame of 5 days, we're going to shrink that time interval of the candlesticks to 5 minutes, or to 1 hour, or to 4 hours. Will it change it to 4 hours? or is it going to just freeze on me? So I was changing time intervals, right? We were at 1 hour. So over the past 5 days, and I know it's giving me more than 5 days here. I don't know why, but I asked for 5 days and it's giving me way more than 5. But now it's giving me the intervals for over an hour. So let's just take a look at this section right here. The structure of the candlestick is exactly the same. Each hour has a open, a close, a high, and a low for that hour, because the stock could be trading at different prices during that hour. Day traders trade in matters of minutes. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 2 minutes. They can make a trade and get out because they're just looking to get minor, like quick little profits. But something can move so quickly that you can make quick money within a short period of time. So if we were to look at this candlestick right here, this is on November 15th. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours worth of data on this day, because we're looking at a 1 hour candlestick open for 7 hours, or pretty much really 7.5, right? Or 6.5. And it's saying that approximately on that second hour of trading, Tesla opened up at $314 and it went all the way up to $322 in that 1 hour. That's why looking at candlesticks gives you the idea of all the activity that it did. That's why I showed you, like when I drew the picture, I was doing the whole bouncing up and down. This is that bouncing up and down. You're not going to get that with the line chart. Okay. You can take a look at it. You can do a line chart and go down to smaller intervals, but I believe the candlesticks give you a way better picture. So in this 7 hours on this day of the 15th, we're going up. It said, okay, I'm opened here. I go down to this wick here. I'm going up. It did all this in 1 hour, but it went up the next hour, came down here, went up that hour, but it came back here and it teetered off and closed at this area here of, what did it close at? $320.83. These 7 candles is 1 day. So the structure of the candlestick is exactly the same, but the time interval is different. We're looking at 1 hour here. If we were to go to look at a year, I'm going to go back out and we're going to look at a whole year of Tesla. We're looking at a daily candlestick interval, but we can change that to look at it over the course of 1 week. We can say, all right, instead of looking at every single day, I just want to see what a week represents. So now I'm looking back a whole year and I'm looking at a 1 week representation. And for example, here, let's go up closer. Our buddy Elon Musk and his Tesla stock during the week of November 3rd. You guys remember what happened that week? You guys remember what happened the week of November 3rd? No? Well, yeah, because you guys cannot vote. So
the election.
the week of the election.
I knew that.
Yeah, you did, I bet. So the week of the election, Tesla was like, bam, Elon Musk is in the door in the government, in the White House. He's got a seat somewhere. This Tesla is going to do very well under this administration. Tesla popped up that entire week, right? So the candlesticks, again, you look at the time frame, but then you also look at the interval of the candle, and you can look at the interview of the candle by a day. You can look at it by a week. You can look at it over the course. I'm gonna go 5 years, and now I'm gonna take a look at it for the month. So now this is the beginning of the month, the end of the month, or this is the beginning of the month, the end of the month. And you can see the vast fluctuations in price on Tesla in this 1 month of December 2021. It opened that month here at 382. It went as high as 402, went as low as $264 in that 30 days. And then it closed at 312 at the end of December 2021. The structure and body of the candle is the same, just the interval has changed. So I want to hammer that part in of the design of the candlestick so you can understand it when you take a look at any chart in the future and people show you that, that this picture, you can say, okay, now I know that this candle means that it opened here, closed here, but went as high as here. On that one day, there was a lot of different prices for Tesla. The line chart doesn't give you that. You see the significance of the candle now? The line chart only gives you the close. The candlestick lets you know how much, can give you an idea of the activity within the day of that candle. Okay. All right. Any questions on candlesticks? I know that took up majority of the time, but it's important to be able to show you the next. Go ahead.
Well, what are the like bars on the bottom?
These bars here?
Yeah.
Great question, because that's where we were going to next. The bars that you see here shooting up from the bottom, this is the volume that the stock has traded for the day. So if we zoom in, let's take a look at this day here. This bar represents, if you take a look at your top left of the chart, the volume for the day was 204,782,800 shares traded that day. Okay. That's how many shares traded in the particular day. When we go over here to the next, it's 210,000. 210 million, not 210, 210 million. You go to this next day, it's 155 million. That shows the liquidity of the stock. And what I mean by liquidity, I mean the frequency of people trading Tesla. A lot of people are trading Tesla. And so when you see a lot of volume of trades going back and forth, these are people making deals back and forth all day. 210 million trades back and forth of people buying and selling and buying and selling and buying and selling for the day. Now, this is Tesla. Let's just take a look at another stock real quick. I'm going to go to American Airlines, and let's take a look at the volume and liquidity for American Airlines. On November 13th, our green candle is here, and their volume, take a look at the top left, is 30 million. A far cry from Tesla, right? A big difference. So American Airlines is less liquid than Tesla, meaning not as many people are trading back and forth American Airlines as much as they're trading Tesla. So the bars down at the bottom lets you know how much trading activity happened on that particular day for that particular stock. What's up, Josiah?
What about when they had that big like Microsoft outage? Like, could that affect their trading?
Did that affect people's ability to trade? I'm not too sure. Actually, I don't know if do you remember that day?
Um,
You know
it
what day
was
that was?
sometime in like early, no, not June, like late July.
It wasn't late July. I can't remember the day though.
It was like somewhere between late July and early August. I know it affected the flights, but would it affect the trade or their revenue? It would because they had to halt all flights.
It definitely affects the revenue, but that's from a fundamental standpoint when you look at that later. I'm not going to say it affected the ability for people to trade because I don't know. But I'm trying to think of when it occurred, and I think it was here on the 23rd and 24th time frame here.
Yeah,
It
because
probably, yeah.
that's when we were
So
gone.
yeah, so you can see that on these days here for Microsoft, after that whole situation, the following days it just went bloop bloop. It was like people were just pissed off, so they said, we're, they just sold some of their shares. Maybe they thought the world was ending. I don't know.
We
But
checked for Spirit Airlines because they're supposed to be going bankrupt.
it is going bankrupt. Is Spirit even publicly traded? You guys fly Spirit?
No.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be going bankrupt. But that doesn't mean that the stock still won't trade. But once it does go bankrupt, it's going to be done. Oh, look, it just doesn't even trade anymore. Yeah, it doesn't trade anymore.
What about for Hawaiian Airlines?
Right here.
Because I know they have a couple stocks.
Who?
Hawaiian Airlines.
It's a publicly traded company?
I think so, yeah.
Let's see. It's not pulling up anything.
Hmm.
That's how you spell Hawaiian, right?
Yeah, Hawaii, then AN.
Okay. All right. So I'm not tripping then. Yeah, no, they don't have anything.
Hmm.
All right. Oh no, I didn't go back. This is this Tesla? Okay. So do you guys understand and get any questions about the way that the stock candles work and the way that you can set up a chart? The thing is, any charting software, any brokerage company, any other Bloomberg, Investopedia, Google Finance, Yahoo Finance, Charles Schwab, E-Trade, whatever the trading platform is, or whatever the financial website is that's going to give you a chart, you can change it with different time frames and you can change it with different intervals. And it's just important to keep in mind what the candlestick represents and to know the time frame of what that candlestick is. Any questions on that? If you're not grasping it all right now, that's totally fine. But we're good. Oliver wants to see Pokemon. It's a cryptocurrency. And where in the world is it? Oh, it's right here. Yeah, that really ain't got no activity. I don't know how I can explain what this is. Other than, is this it has, you know what it is, Oliver?
People don't like to buy Pokemon stocks. That's what it is.
It's so far. Look how many zeros. Was this the 10th? Is it the tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s? Is it 100 and was it I don't even know how many what is it when you go back that many zeros? Layla, what is what is it, Layla? She's like,
It's tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, 10 millions, 100 millions.
oh, that's what it goes. It goes to millions. Like, yeah. So look, it's so far in a number back that I don't even it doesn't register.
Less than 1 cent.
Yeah. Way less than 1 cent. This is way less than 1 cent. But there's some trading activity somewhere. Some volume of 6,000 people did it on the 23rd, but yeah, that doesn't exist. As far as Yahoo Finance goes, it's not even registering on the Richter scale. But that's funny.
Come on, let me down.
So I wanted to show you guys Yahoo Finance because that's the freest way that you're going to be able to just say, you know what, let me take a look at some stocks and see what it does. Another platform that I do like to use is called TradingView. TradingView is it is free. And I'm not trying to actually join right now. I do have like an account. Let me just try and get that box out of the way. But TradingView, as you can see, it's kind of already set up on candlesticks for me. And we're taking a look at the S&P 500, which is the market index, the top 500 companies in the market. And it's on the candlestick. You see your volumes down here. And what you guys obviously should understand now, what do these candlesticks mean? There's an open price, a close, a high, and a low. for what the performance is over the course of, I think this is going back 1 year. This is a yearly chart and it's daily. They look different. I'm gonna get to you, Johnny. They look different because the indicators are at different places. This starts us off already at 1 year, and then the indicator for the daily is up here with this D. If I click on it, I can change it to even smaller intervals. 1 minute, to the seconds, to the different types of hours. As you can see, this is giving me more options than Yahoo Finance. Okay. And that's TradingView. So there's different sites, but again, they all have the capability of you taking a look at the chart, a different time frame, and then also at different intervals that you are able to set up and establish. But for now, just stick with the daily, stick with looking at, when you look at a chart, look at 1 year, look at the daily. What's up, Johnny?
What's that one like company that stock is worth like $7,000?
Who is it? Is it Berkshire?
Yeah, that's all.
Berkshire
So-
Class A. Yeah. Berkshire Class A. Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett. Yeah, that's pretty expensive. You know, that's a house. That's not even a house in the Bay Area. That's a house in the sticks for one share of that company. It's crazy, right? But what you can see is not a lot of people can trade that. If we zoom in here for yesterday, it only had 2,400 trades. Only 2,400 people, wanted to trade Berkshire Hathaway. But very, 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 very expensive. Okay. So let us take a look at something here. I want us to take a look at the S&P 500. And I'm actually going to bring it over here to TradingView. Because obviously you can see it should be the same information on both sides. TradingView and Yahoo should have the same chart. They really shouldn't be different because it's coming from the same source. But I'm going to switch it over to TradingView just because I like this view a little bit better. But what I want you to pay attention to now is, what does it look like the S&P 500 is doing? Is the S&P 500 doing good? Is it doing bad? Or is it just like staying even kill over the past year? Has the S&P been doing good, been doing bad, or has it just been staying even kill? What are your thoughts?
I think it's been doing pretty good
Okay.
because it's had its dips, but it keeps going back up.
Right?
Yeah, it goes up and down, but it goes higher up than down for the most part.
Up and to the right is a good thing unless it's your weight. Right? You don't want to be getting higher in age and getting bigger, okay, in weight. So for the stock chart, up and to the right, a good thing. We can see that it has had a good trend of, like you said, the ups and downs, but it's going up and it's going to the right. As time progresses, the price is going up. We call this a trend. Particularly, it's called an uptrend because it's going up. So it's an uptrend. It's going up. There are stocks that we can take a look at. This is AT&T. Oh, no. Better one. Peloton. Anybody have a Peloton in their house? No? Dang it, it's going to make me try and join. Okay, whatever. I'll go back to Yahoo Finance. Peloton. Peloton. I'm going to zoom out. You see that there? For a period in time, Peloton was doing what? Doing good, right? They were going up and to the right.
It was booming.
It reached the peak of COVID And at one point, this is all people saw. At this period in time, what is it doing? Down and to the left. That's a downtrend. Not a good looking stock. You know, the old adage is buy low, sell high, right? Buy low, sell high. I'm gonna make money when the stock goes up. So here, if you bought here at $152 and it just started to just go down, are you making money or losing money?
Losing.
Losing. And you're not happy. Okay. You were the prior year. You were pretty stoked. Because the prior year, it was just like, oh yeah, everybody's about to have a Peloton. We're working from home. They don't get their exercise on. We're doing good. The following year and a half, 2 years, it just did not look good. So this is a good picture of a stock that can go from having an uptrend, higher prices. This is over the course of a week, looking at 5 years over the course of a week. It was going up and to the right. And then for the next 2 years, it had a downtrend. Oops, sorry. It had a downtrend. It was going down and to the right. This is what we call a downtrend. So you have stocks that go up, you have stocks that go down. And now, what is this area right here tell you? What direction is it going now? Is it going up or down? Right here?
It's going kind of still down, but it's peaking a tiny bit.
It's just meandering, right? This is going sideways. So it's just what you can it's just trending. You can say that it's trending sideways. Now it is going down in some of these spurts. You're correct, Oliver. Like right here to here, it went from $16 down to $5. And then, but from here to here, it was just going sideways. So here's the things that stocks do. This is how you can know if you do want to buy a stock. Stocks do practically 3 things, and they can do them at all different times. Stocks are either going to go up, they're either going to go sideways, or they're either going to go down. So you either have an uptrend, down, dang it, downtrend, or you can have sideways action, okay? So if you're buying stocks, you want it to go up. I'm going to buy the stock. I want the price to go up. If you buy the stock, you don't want it to go down. Or better yet, if you buy the stock, you don't really want it to go sideways because it's not actually making money for you. Your money is just tied up in something that's not doing anything for you to be able to get out at a profit or at a significant profit. So you want to be able to buy stocks or even options for that matter that go up. You can sell stocks. You can sell stocks, meaning I'm going to sell something at this price for it to go down, and I want to buy it at a lower price, but that's a lot more riskier. I don't specialize in selling or what we call shorting stocks. You're saying I anticipate that this stock is going to go down, so I'm going to short it. I'm going to sell the price here and I'm going to buy it later down here. That's called shorting. I don't do that type of trading. I don't think you should. There's other strategies that we can utilize where you can make money when the stock does go down, particularly in options. But there is ways to make money when the price does go down. That's my purpose of sharing that with you. You can make money when the price goes down. But the stocks either go up, they go sideways, or they go down. Now, stocks can go what am I doing here? Where's my pencil at? Oh, there it is. Stocks can go way up and stocks can go way down. Okay. Keep that in mind. This is the downtrend, but it can be steeper than that. It can be steeper than that. And if we take a look at Peloton and we look at this area right here, this is that steep down, okay? Just that fall off the face of the earth down, right? A lot of stocks did that during COVID as well, where they dropped dramatically, like here, right here, 3 straight weeks. That's like going down a fire department pole, right? That's just straight down. And then at some points, it does just have more of a downtrend where it's getting worse and worse by the week or by the day gradually versus just falling off the face of the earth. Okay. So stocks have pretty much 3 directions it can go. It can go up, it can go sideways, it can go down. As a buyer of stocks and options, you want to purchase a stock when it does have a good uptrend. You want to buy it when it's low. You want to sell it when it gets higher. Okay. So if we take a look back at Tesla, and we're looking at let's go back to the 1 year and let's look at it daily. If we take a look at Tesla from this time frame, Layla, my dear, what would you say that Tesla was doing between January, February time and July? Was it going up, down, or sideways between this period here? What would you say, Layla?
Was it down? Is it going down?
It has some periods of going down, but what is its general major look of this time frame?
It kind of just fluctuated in the same sort of range.
Just really sideways. It's some up and down. Money can be made in that period, but overall it's sideways. Overall it's sideways. It did have a down period here, but still overall it's sideways. Now, if we take a look at this section here, if we're looking at now from August to July, Oliver, what would you say this trend is?
I'd say that August to July is mostly up with a couple of bumps.
Yep, mostly up. Some gap downs, some dips, but up. And every stock, right? Peaks and valleys. Every stock goes up, comes down a little bit, goes up, comes down a little bit, goes up, comes down a little bit. Because if you were a buyer back here in August and you bought at $188 and it went up to $227, you're pretty happy. You're probably like, oh, let me take some profit and I'm gonna sell some, or I'm gonna sell all. I made the money I wanted to make. I'm good. And so when a lot of people see that a stock reaches the price where they're happy it's at, they start selling it. And when they start selling it, it starts to go down a little bit. And then people say, you know what? I do like this price of 203. I've made some money on it in the past. I'm going to buy it again. So they start buying it, and that drives the price up. And then it gets to a point where some people say, you know what? I'm going to take my profit, or there's earnings coming up, or whatever it is. I bought it down here at 202. It's now at 262. I'm going to sell some here, or I'm going to sell all of it here. And when enough people are selling the stock, the price then goes down. Enough people buy the stock, the price pops up. Enough people selling it, it goes down. People buying it and other events that occur, the stock price can pop up. And so it's always going to be a little bit of an up and down. But when you take a bigger picture, you pull back and you take a bigger picture look at the stock and you say, okay, this stock looks pretty good. I want to be able to buy it at this point. And you can buy it here and you can sell it later. If you bought it at 186 and you're selling it at 356, you almost made 100% of your money. And you'd be pretty happy. That happened between August and December. So there's trends when you're taking a look at a stock pattern, okay? And that is going to be able to help you purchase and buy a stock. So let's kind of fast forward real quick, and I'm going to show you two more things so that you can kind of understand reading a stock chart. But I'm trying to jam like 3 days worth of material into 2 hours, which I know is virtually impossible. But we can always have more of these, and we can always answer any questions at any other time. Now, when you're looking at a stock chart, you have the ability to draw on this stock chart, okay? And typically your brokerage or even Yahoo has what they call drawing tools. And so you can see this little pencil here with the draw highlight here. You have drawing tools. And there's a whole bunch of different tools that exist, but I'm just going to show you really two of them. Or really one, actually. And it's a line. That's all it is a line. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw in a line on this chart for the S&P 500. And I'm going to draw the line here. I'm going to draw the line here. Let me flatten this out a little bit. So we already kind of determined that the S&P 500 is on somewhat of an uptrend, which is correct. It is looking pretty good. What you can do to give you an idea of when a good time to buy is, you can try, what you want to do is connect some of the recent bottoms, which would be those valleys, those ups and those downs. You want to try to connect some of the recent significant pullbacks or the significant down periods so that you can draw in a typical trend of where somebody may purchase the stock or the index in the future. So what I put on the chart here is what's called a trend line. And this trend line helps us to draw out and have some future expectation of when somebody else may decide to buy the stock, or where the stock may come back down to, and somebody will, or some people in the marketplace would decide to buy the stock. So I connected 2 points that were dips that we had in our uptrend. And these 2 points are here from November and October. And when I drew in these 2 points here, it gave us you can kind of see how it went up and then it came back down into that area of the trend line, and it came up, pulled back a little bit more, came up, and obviously this is where I started my trend line at. And this now can give me an idea that if the stock continues to go up, or the S&P 500 continues to go up and pull back, I can look at an opportunity to buy the stock when it gets to that trend line I put in. Because this stock can continue to do this. There's no ability to draw, but I could draw like this. This stock can continue to go up, and it can come back and hit the line and go back up again and make a higher high. And it can come back and it can go flat, flat, flat. It can hit the line and then it can go up again and draw down, hit the line, and go again. When you draw trend lines, it can give you a potential opportunity to make a purchase on a stock in the future based off what you see the trend doing. And this trend line can be drawn in at many different periods of a stock chart's existence. So I drew it in. Oh, darn it. How do I get that off here? Let me delete the black line there. Okay. So I drew it in based off of connecting these 2 points. But there's another area where I can draw a line. And that's right here. This would have been in the past. Come on, where's my line at? So here I am drawing it in at a point where I have a bottom here, and it touched that point there, and it touched this point here. At some point this year in April, starting in April, it was on an uptrend. So let's say I'm looking at it and all I have is this data. Okay, make it bigger. Let's say all I have is this data. And at this time in May, I said to myself, that looks like it's on an uptrend. Let me draw a line on it to see if this is correct. And I would draw a line that would connect these 2 points here and here, which I kind of already prematurely did. So bear with me. But I drew the line and it's connecting these 2 points here and here. Well, I can say to myself, this may be a good area where there's support, where hopefully it's not going to go below that price. And I want to purchase the stock. And I would say, okay, I'm going to buy some here to see that it goes up above the last area where it was where there was a high, or what we would also call resistance. And I'll show you that in a minute. So I buy at a support area with expectation that the price will continue to go up. But then if it comes back down to this line, that may be another opportunity to buy, or maybe there's a point where I want to sell it in the future. We don't know. But here I am drawing a line and saying this is probably a good place to buy, because according to my lines, it hit here and it here, and that's a support line for me. And I'd like to go ahead, make an investment, and see if the price goes up. So as we go through the days, we can see that it is increasing and going up. And then we could see, okay, boom, it's here at my line again. And we, at this point, would have to make a decision on, do I want to maybe buy more, or do I want to sell it? I don't know. You bought it at 5,200, now it's at 5,500. You know, you'd have to make a decision for yourself. If you would have sold it back here, held on to it, maybe bought more because you feel like, oh, it bounced off the line here, it bounced off the line back here. I think it should bounce off this line right here again. Let's see if it bounces off this line right here again and continue to go up. And so it does, and you're like happy, you're like, cool. But then you get to a point where it breaks your line. It breaks that trend line. So now, when this stock breaks your trend line that you drew in, you just do a straight line connecting two lows, 2 points where it was low. You're saying to yourself, hold on, it broke this line. That means this line is no longer a good place of support where I can find an opportunity to buy. If I have any stock that I bought back here, I should sell it right now, because you want to capture your profit because it broke this support line. Okay. That was a lot. Any questions? Any questions? Thoughts? Something doesn't make sense, let me know. Go ahead. What's up? What's up, Jessica?
I actually have to kind of get going now. So
We're recording, so I can share it with you later. No worries.
okay, thank you.
No, for sure. Have a good day. Any questions or thoughts? No? Does it make sense? It does? Oliver? Anything? You good? Johnny, you good? I can't see, you're like a shadow, bro. You're good. All right. So this is called a trend line drawing tool. Okay. It can give you a good idea of when you can draw in lines to get an idea of where your support may be. Another area would be an area where we would call it resistance. So let me delete these two lines, or actually, let me pull back and ask you guys a question. What can I do for you? Go ahead. if you see that there's these points where there's some support, where would you say, I'm going to delete, how do I delete? I'll delete the drawing. Okay. If you see that there's this area of support, there's another area where we call resistance. And that would be where the stock price is coming up, but it's hitting a ceiling. It's coming down and it's hitting the floor. He's gone already. Prince is not interested in making money. That's what the facts of the matter is. You can give him a hard time. So there's areas of support where it hits the floor and then it goes up. But then there's an area of a ceiling where it hits it and it goes down. Okay. So we've drawn in right here an area of support. Do you guys see a visual kind of imaginary line where you can see a resistance of where it kept hitting somewhere and start coming back down, hitting somewhere, coming back down? You guys see that, right? And so if we draw that line in here, it'll be right there. So now we have two trend lines on the S&P 500, and it's identifying an area where the stock is going in this, which way, I don't know which way you guys are seeing my hands go, but it's going into an up into the right direction in a channel. It's bouncing. It hit this point, it went up, hit a ceiling, came back, got into the area of a support line, then it went up, got into the area of resistance, came back down, didn't go back to the support line, but then it came up and hit the area of resistance again, came back to a support line, then it went up to the area of resistance, came back down to the area of support. So now what we would deduce from here, deduce meaning give an estimate or kind of guess where we'd go from here, an educated guess, not like a gambling guess, but an educated guess, is that the S&P 500 will likely do one of the two things. It can either continue to go up here, hit that resistance line. Oops, gosh. It'll continue to go up here, hit that resistance line. And then we would expect for then it to kind of come and pull back, hit this line, and continue to go in this trend. Oliver.
What happens when the points converge? What would that mean?
Like when these two lines kind of cross.
Yeah.
That means that's typically will indicate there's a pattern called a flag pattern. When those two lines converge, the stock will have to bust out of that point and either go up or it goes down. So let me see. I'm trying to look at a point on the chart right now that I can draw that line for you. Like you can kind of draw it here. I'm just going to use it with my pencil here. You see these lines right here, these bottoms here? You can draw that. And you can draw that. And obviously here's the point where it was going to connect, but it already fell through the bottom. It's not the best example to give you, but I'm just trying to go off what I can see right now. But when those 2 points connect, typically it can continue to bounce within that point, and then it's either going to go bounce up or it's going to go down. It's going to come out of that trend line in one of those ways.
So that could be the time to maybe start selling your stocks.
Good point. Yep, it could be based on your desire, your plan, what you want to do. Or if you're like, I don't want to wait, I don't want to know if it's going to pull back. I've already made some profit. Let me go ahead and sell. Okay. Now, let's go here. So let me delete that. So this, again, the top part is called a resistance line. And the bottom part is called a support line. Look at it from the aspect of here's your floor, and then here's your ceiling. I did not spell ceiling correctly, but don't shoot me, okay? Dude, Robert, click the select that, move that. Ooh, that is so wrong. I'm spelling ceiling. All right. So, how do you spell ceiling? Never mind. Never mind. We're not going to even go there, okay? So, resistance is like a ceiling and support is like a floor, okay? The stock comes down, bounces off of the floor, it goes up and it may hit the ceiling, or it can go up and it can break through the ceiling. Okay. Let's take a look at something where it did actually do that. This is not going to AMD for me. Why is it on the 1 year, 1 minute? Trying to look at something that is better, that would make better sense for you guys. And I'm randomly just looking at stocks where I don't have that. I don't even trade MGM, but this is a good example. Okay. So, do you guys see, based off what you know so far, do you see lines or area, do you see imaginary lines of what could be the floor and what could be the ceiling when we're taking a look at this section right here? Oliver?
The floor and ceiling would be very straight. It's just straight across, pretty
These,
much.
right here and right here, right? Okay, so let me close that out. Let me get my drawing tool. Why did it make it so small for me? So, do we have a straight horizontal line that we can draw? Bro, are you serious?
The interval is at 1 minute.
Thank you. Why is it on the 1 day? What? Thank you, sir. I promise you, I don't mean to confuse you right now. But because I was gonna kind of get to this point as well. But that time frame, the drawing of these trend lines can happen at all intervals and at all on all chart time frames. So the same thing that we did on the S&P 500 over the course of a year, we can also do that at a 5-day, 1 minute chart. Now, I didn't know that it switched it back over to it. Thank you, Johnny, for pointing that out. But it still shows what you were able to identify, Oliver, are 2 points that looked like support and resistance. The thing I wanted to make sure that you can do is be able to identify it, and you did very easily. You saw that this was a support, and then you saw that this was a resistance area. Here's our floor, here's our ceiling. And what did it do all day for a period of time for 1 minute? It just bounced between these two prices until it broke out. Okay. So you had support, resistance, and it bounced here for a little bit, then it broke out. But to your point, it is a 1 minute chart. You guys wouldn't typically be doing that at any point in time right now. So let's try and find it on a larger time frame. Let's take a look at Southwest. And we're going to go 1 year, and we're going to look at the day for 1 year. That's a pretty ugly looking chart. Let's take a look at this section here. Based off what you guys see here, do you see an area that can be a floor and a ceiling?
Kind of like diagonal.
Talking about this here? Dude, why does it keep changing on me? Like this here?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I
that
even thought we could go like
you want it to touch here?
like this.
Like more like that? Okay. So let's make that adjustment.
Wait, Johnny, you can edit it?
You can draw on the screen, yeah.
Um,
And our ceiling would be here. Would you guys agree that kind of looks like a ceiling there? Is it pretty? Not at all. Not at all. So it's not as pretty, but that's a pretty good. If you were a trader, you said to yourself, okay, do I want to buy this right now? Where is it in my trend line? This is an uptrend. We can all agree, right? This is an uptrend. It's going up and to the right for this period of time, right? When you scale back and you look at it at a bigger picture, it's like, well, maybe that's a downtrend. When you look at the big picture, maybe that's a downtrend. But when you look at it at this short period of time, from August to now, it's looking like a pretty good uptrend, right? So we say to ourselves, well, would I want to buy this now? If I want to buy low, sell high, it's in the middle of my trend. It's in the middle of my support line and in the middle of my resistance line. If I want to trade this stock, I should wait till it hits that support line, comes closer to my line, and then I'll buy. And then wait for it to go back up to that ceiling line. So your area of point and where you would want to make your purchase at is you would want to wait for it to come here, and then you buy it here, and then it'll work its way up, and then you'd sell it there. Come on. I keep pressing my right clicker like an idiot, and you would sell it there. You want to see this pull back to your support line, draw up, and you would sell it at that resistance line, because historically it has support, resistance, an area, resistance, come down, support, up, down, resistance, and hopefully it comes back to support, and we would expect it to go back to resistance. So we would buy at our support line, sell it at our resistance line. Make sense of a trend? Oliver, you good with it? Layla, make sense? Okay, so let me scratch all this. Let me go to one of my favorites, Apple. All right. Layla, where do you see that our resistance line could be at? Where do you think, based off what you see here, where would our resistance line be at?
Do you want me to draw it?
Hmm?
Do you want me to draw it?
You can if you want. Here, go ahead.
Just like at the top here. Around here.
There is that trend that it's had, but where is a better place that you can possibly connect a couple different? Where do you see that it went up and it stopped, came down, went up, stopped, came down, went up, stopped?
Like over here.
Boom, there you go. Even all the way to over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can draw in a resistance line over there. I don't know why it keeps changing the size when I use their tools. I apologize, but oh, what happened there? All right, so perfect. You saw a location where, all right, it goes up, it stops, it goes up, it stops, it goes up, it stops. Oliver, where do you see that there's potential support lines? Where it goes down and it bounced up and it goes down. Just looking at,
maybe like along here.
there you go.
I'm
That's a
sorry,
good.
that's not straight at all. I'm trying to draw with my finger.
Nah, I dig it, right? So exactly that, but that's still the zone, right? That's still the area. So if I go here, I know it's going to change our situation, but we can run it there. Johnny, I noticed that you kind of ran it to touch these points here, which is okay too. But from our perspective, uh, from the perspective here, we could see, let's put that right there back where Oliver had his squiggly line there. So we got it there, right? So on this pattern, we have a resistance that's flat, or on this trend, we have a resistance that's flat, and we have a support that's coming up. And we're at a point, right? We're almost at that inflection point that you talked about, Oliver, right? We're almost at that point where it's like, it's got to make a decision. So, Johnny, let's say you bought Apple back here at 200. You bought it back here because this is all you saw. And if you felt like this could have been resistance and it got to here, would you have said, let me sell it?
Yeah.
Because you're like, yeah, that's that resistance. I'm going to sell it. I want my money. Now, if you wanted to keep Apple for the long term, you'd probably just hold it because you're like, it's going to go back up to the moon again. But then it pulls back. You may be a little worried because it's coming close to where you bought it at. And then it goes up again and it hits the ceiling again. You're like, oh, it's not breaking, that 230 area. So you're happy you sold it here. Or maybe you felt like maybe I could have waited and sold it here later. And now we're all the way at this point here. And I would say if you bought it here and you sold it here, you'd still be pretty happy because that's a profit for one. You made money. Two, you would see that it came up to this area multiple times and it kept stopping. It kept stopping at that area. So you're like, I sold it at a pretty good spot. Now, you'd be kind of upset if you sold it here, though, right? You didn't make as much money. This is 215 and it kept going to 230. You would be a little bit more upset if you sold it here than if you sold it up here. But you're glad that you're like, yeah, I would have sold it there and that would have been a good profit from 199 to $233. Pretty good profit. But this pattern here that you guys see in Apple and this trend that is going, it's on an uptrend, but there seems to be a ceiling at $235. So Oliver, this stock is going to do one of two things, really, or maybe one of three things. It's going to either, where's my annotation tool at again? It's going to either break up and go, and then pull back and then go again. It's going to either come down and then bounce back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it has to either go up or down. So when you ask the question kind of, are we going to be able to, apparently we won't have the time for me to show you how to actually put on a trade in an actual brokerage account. But I'm more than happy to do as many more of these videos as you want to do and have this time that we could spend together. But this will, just knowing this simple stuff here can give you the idea of, okay, if I look at a stock chart, I know what a candlestick means now. I know the open close, I know the price can fluctuate throughout the day, but just simply by taking Yahoo Finance and drawing some lines on the chart, I can determine where the resistance is and I can determine where the resistance is, and I can determine where the support is. And I can see from looking at the chart, is it going up, is it going down, or is it going sideways? And based off what I see here, I could see it's going up, but it's hitting this ceiling. So as a trader, I want to wait, or as an investor, stop using the right button. As the investor, I want to say, okay, do I wait to see if it breaks out of here and goes higher? Then I can buy after it breaks out and goes higher. Do I want to see it pull back and hit the line? Then I'll buy. Or maybe I'll just wait to see what develops after it breaks this line or breaks this line, and then I'll look for more trend lines, or I'll look for more support and resistance. Simply by looking at the chart itself and drawing lines of support and resistance can give you a really good idea of where to buy the stock and where to sell the stock. Okay. Let's see here. Again, I don't know where these stocks are going. I haven't looked at any of these prior than us talking. But just looking at this period here, do we see areas of support and resistance? Just looking at this area here, right? We could see it. It starts to live a little bit easier in our brain, right? Not a straight line, but we have an area of support. We have an area of resistance. Right now, it's closer to support, and it looks like it may be pulling back. If it pulls back, we'd hope it comes to that area, and then we can buy it and sell it when it comes up here. Okay. Let's do another one real quick. Let's go to Planet Hollywood. Let's go to Planet Fitness. That was a really bad this one, in my opinion, if we look at this period here, we have an area, but we can't really make a decision based off what we see with this, right? We could see that there was a support right there. There was a resistance right there. It broke out of it and it shot up. And now, like, it's a very steep line there. So this is not really a good one to trade. It doesn't really give us a good opportunity to buy low and sell high. Okay. Let's take a look at another one. Clear all drawings, change this. DBX. What's DBX? Dropbox. I actually have lines on Dropbox. That's interesting. Ah. Okay. Delete the drawing. I don't know how these drawings got on Dropbox, but whatever. All right. So looking at this area here, we could see we're on some type of uptrend since August, right? We can draw that there. We can draw that there. Oh, it's in the resistance area. I probably don't want to buy it here. I want to wait for it to come back, purchase it, and then sell it up here. Okay. What's WATC? What is that? What's WATC?
Wizards of the Coast.
Huh?
Wizards of the Coast. Is it on is it a stock?
It's Magic the Gathering and D&D.
The Magic game? The Magic card game? You gotta know.
Magic the Gathering.
You gotta know the parent company.
Yeah, it's Wizards of the Coast, but I don't know like if it would what the it's most I think it's public.
You got to know the ticker symbol of what it is.
It's
I'm-
not, this one is not doing too well.
I don't know what Magic Empire Global Limited is. I don't know what that one would be. But this one definitely isn't doing good, huh? I don't know. But for the sake of being here, right? Here's the other thing that you can do. This would be homework if I were to assign any, right? Is take a look at a chart and then take a look at all the different periods where you would have areas of resistance and support, and how that it kind of has it even has changed over time, right? Connecting some bottoms. And now it's kind of just going sideways. You see, there's all these different trend areas. Thank you, sweetie. There's all these different trend areas. Say hi. Say hi to them. Say hi. That are on the line here. Thank you, baby. Much appreciated. You say hi. There's Layla and Oliver and Johnny. They can't see, but you're getting water bottle.
Yeah.
Any questions, you guys? Any questions? None. Nothing, Oliver. Nothing. Yeah. What's up?
Are you currently investing in any stocks?
Yeah, I have money in Apple. But I have money in Apple, and I have money in Applied Materials. I have money in Applied Materials. You want to eat my food? No, maybe later. I have money in Applied Materials, doing an option contract, which would require a whole nother time for us to get together. And then I have money in Chipotle, CMG. Chipotle's on an uptrend here. And so I'm trading this one. I'm waiting for this one to get up here, and then I'll sell it. But I'm waiting it to get to this area of resistance of an all-time high. What else am I in? I am in Google. Ah, gosh, I'm moving. So this one's kind of has a little bit of an uptrend building here, but Google just got sued by the Department of Justice because they want to break up the monopoly and they want them to sell their Google Chrome division. So it that messed up the stock the other day. So that's had a couple of red days, but it's still overall on an uptrend. And it's obviously, nobody does anything without Google than Googling it. And then what else am I in? I'm also in so there's that one. I'm actually in AMD as well. So we already looked at AMD, but I'm in AMD. And I know it's kind of on its sideways downtrend, but I have a long-term viewpoint on AMD. This guy taking over my video. And applied material, AMD, Google's, Chipotle. Oh, and I was in Broadcom, AVGO. I was in Broadcom. We were in it from here. I was in it from this point in this area up to here, and made over 100% in that options trade that we did with my team. And actually, I was in Amazon. From here, like this area. I was in Amazon from this area to like right here.
Oh, go.
So we had some Amazon stock. Not stock. We had Amazon contracts, but I got out of that. You just want to talk and say hello? Is that what you're doing? Okay. So So what I would suggest, what I would recommend that you guys do is to take a look at Yahoo Finance and just take a look at some charts. Draw some trend lines in there and be able to say to yourself, okay, this is where I would buy, this is where I would sell, and just do multiples of the number. If you were to buy it at, $155 and you bought 100 of them or 20 of them, this is how much I would have invested. And if I sold it here at 181, take the difference, multiply it by how many shares you would have purchased, and that would have been approximately your profit. But drawing trend lines on a chart and understanding how to read a chart is one of the first and simple, easy ways to say, this is where I would buy and this is where I would sell. And if you can just do that and learn that and understand that, then we'll start to be able to easily make the process of saying, okay, I can read a stock chart. I can see where I would buy and I would see where I would sell. Okay. I'll have to show you that one again on the next time. Stop talking all in the time. What do you mean? My phone? All right, you guys, I do have to go, but a lot of fun. And like I said, we can do more of these through December if you guys want to connect. And but we'll talk at class, not next week, but I'll be there the following week and we go from there. If you have any questions, just ping Legacy or Prince or just email me. I got your back. All right.
Bye. Thank you.
For sure. See you guys later.
Thank you.
Bye.